everyone, welcome to part 2 of this planner page. This is a page from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Johanna Basford, but also this week's planner page in her 2023 planner. This first part I've done on a video yesterday, so you can catch up with that later if you need to. You don't have to have done this bit to carry on and do the next part. We're going to be working on some of these florals down here in this corner. Actually, I'm probably going to do that corner because I don't like this leaning on this. I'll probably do this side, but it doesn't really matter where you start. We're using Pablo Pencils. I do have a conversion chart in my Ko-fi shop for Pablo and Prisma. So that might be, sorry, I'm telling lies, Pablo and Polychromos. So that could be useful to you if you don't have the Pablos. Otherwise, I don't think it's really vital to match it up. We've got, you know, reddish pinks and a sky blue and greeny blues. You know, it's quite a simple colour scheme so far. I'm not going to do anything too complex. Let's come in nice and close. I didn't really warn you. Seasick alert. We have a butterfly, I've just noticed. I'm going to start with this really pretty flower here. Now, as I said in yesterday's video, I picked a pink for the house that matched reds and colours that I think are really pretty. So this is the raspberry red. I'm trying to find my camera. There it is. I put it miles out of shot. Raspberry red. Oh, are you going to be able to see it? Maybe there. For this one. Now I'm just going to sharpen it. I want it really sharp. The centre of this flower is very small, and I think it's one of those flowers where the centre is the same colour as the rest, just because of the way it's drawn. So I'm going to start with my raspberry, just going around the edge of that central point and trying to make it slightly lighter in the middle. Really difficult with such a small circle, but with these leaves we can make them lighter towards the tip. Maybe you can see why I like this colour so much. I think because I'm a fan of carmines. This is fairly similar. I think I matched this one to the rose carmine in the Polychromos, can't quite remember now. It's that sort of pinky red shade, and I much prefer this sort of pink to a sort of what I call a Barbie pink. The fuchsia in the Polychromos, not so much my favourite, but I do use them because I don't want all my pencil sets to have really long pink pencils and everything else really short. So I try to use them. Now what I'm doing, you may be able to see, is on all of these petals is I'm putting down more layers of colour nearer to the centre of the flower and lightening it towards the tip, just to give us a bit more of hoping to provide a slightly three-dimensional look to this flower, because these petals, this petal I'm colouring now for example, it starts underneath these two, so there'll be some shadow from these, and that would make this look higher than this. Now although the shadow isn't there, because shadow is not pink, it would be probably grey. Hopefully we can start to create that effect, and then I'll decide if I want to put a little bit of grey in there. I probably will, just to show you. So it's really very simple idea, but grasping the technique takes a lot of practice. I've been colouring for 10 years, so I've been practicing doing this for a long time, basically just over colouring and layering over in the darker areas and then less layers in the lighter areas. Getting the transition from dark to light nice and smooth isn't easy, and I don't always achieve it, but I just have a go and do my best. Some days I'm better at colouring than other days. I've noticed other people saying the same thing. It depends on my mood, and I tend to choose a picture depending on that. So because I colour quite quickly, I don't tend to have pictures hanging around for too long. So every day I tend to colour 2 or 3, I suppose. If I'm tired, then I tend to pick a picture that isn't one of my favourites, that don't mind if it's not perfect, and that is maybe hasn't got lots of fine fiddliness to it, you know, maybe a mandala, something like that, or a sort of something more geometric, or, you know, that isn't so fiddly, and also, as I say, not one of my favourites, because I would be very upset if I spoilt a picture that was one of my favourites because I wasn't really in the mood for doing anything too fancy. Okay, so there is the basic start, and you could just leave it there. There's no need to do anything else with that. I think it's a really pretty colour. It looks reasonably three-dimensional, just a little bit, and it's fine. But I'm going to add a few extra bits to it in a moment. I'm just thinking about these buds. Now these are for this flower, I'm assuming, so they would be the same colour. So I'm just going to do those in exactly the same way. I'm going to make them dark at the bottom. I think that's probably how they would be, and lighter to the tip, like that. And hopefully you can start to see how we're tying in with the house a little bit, which is nice. And then this one the same, like that. Now, as I say, you could put a little bit of grey to add some shadow around here, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to use the dark grey. I'm just looking at the colour. It is quite dark, hence the name. I think it's going to work. But will the slate grey be better? No, I'm just going to use the dark grey. I'm just going to bring it to a really good point on the pencil. So here it is. Let's turn it around so you can see it there. Dark grey. Oh, that's shining up well. So my first bit is around the centre part. I'm going to try and put a thinnish layer around there. These pencils are very vibrant, so you don't need to do too much work. Now I'm thinking in between each of these petals there might be a little bit of shadow, like that, and not really on that one. And then where they're lying on top of each other, like that, and then all the way around. I'm turning my pencil to try and find the sharpest bit of the lead, because I don't want my line being too thick, or else it could just end up looking like a dirty smudge. Now, like it's made a bit of a mess there. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure you stay outside that black line. If you go inside, it spoils the effect. It's quite difficult for me because I find it really difficult staying in the lines, but I try my hardest. Don't get stressed by it, just do the best that I can. Keep going around all those edges. Gosh, my children are speaking so loudly. They're having great fun. They're playing a computer game on a joint server together, working together on a game, which they rarely do. They usually play completely different things. They've been doing it for a few days, and it's really nice to hear them playing together, which they rarely do. Now that looks a little more three-dimensional than it did originally, and that's fine. I'm happy with that now. Right, we have our leaves, obviously 3 leaves, stem, that sort of thing. Excuse me. I want to keep with that excuse me, bluey green leaf idea, just so that it matches in. I'm just having a look at what we've got. A lot of the greens are bluey greens. Here, up here, look, these. That's the bluish green and the dark green that we've used already. So I'm thinking maybe the Empire Green. These are maybe a little pale. We've got the Emerald Green, which I think I might go for. These are a little more mid-greens. And then we have loads of sort of olivey type colours here. So I'm going to use what I said I was going to use, the Emerald Green. I couldn't remember. Oh dear. Now with these leaves, we've got, they're in segments, so we could colour each segment. So I'll show you. Just check. Let's put this more central. There we go. So I'm thinking if we make it a little darker here near the flower, and then a little lighter up towards the tip of the leaf, and do that on all of them, but make it darker where they overlap. So darker here and here. It takes a little time and effort to get that colour even. And I'm sort of ignoring that vein part at the minute. You could use 2 shades of green, might be easier for you. I actually find it easier just using 1, because I don't have to keep swapping pencils all the time. I'm going to do that just really lightly. See how that looks when we're done. Up to there, lightly towards the tip. I'm getting hungry. It's nearly lunchtime and I'm already thinking about what to have. We've still got some leftovers from when we had the family over, which is always nice. Unfortunately, the nicest leftovers get used up first, but I always make sure that when I buy food for an occasion, I'm not going to do these 3 now. They will be done in the same way. I think I will leave them. I'm not going to do every single bit of this page, you see, like I didn't do the central part either. But these, I'm trying to do them a little darker on the edges. I think this green goes really nicely with this pink. Now we've got the stem. Let's move down here. I'm just going to block it in, I think. Nothing fancy. Maybe a little darker there, but we could use the grey to emphasise that if we wanted. Now this flower down here is actually the same as this one, which is interesting. Yeah, we've eaten all the avocado. It was smushed avocado. Of course you can't keep normal avocado. I'm gonna do these leaves as well, just a bit darker on the bases of them, like that. They sort of join with this, don't we? Right, got these little flowers here. I'm going to do the same as this because they're on the same stem. So I'm grabbed again my raspberry and I'm just going to darken the base. Yeah, we've got a lot of carbohydrates left, you know, rolls and wraps, but no hummus or, I think we've got a bit of smushed avocado that I hadn't opened, but husband had his eye on that. Cheeky monkey. No, don't worry, you were at work. You didn't help with prepping the food or entertaining or anything, or any of the cleaning, but you know, just eat the leftovers. Oh dear. Right, so my plan, just to let you know, is in between videos, before the next one, because this is going to take more than one video, I'm going to do all of these plants and these leaves, but I'm just going to show you with my grey. Remember we used the grey to create some shadows on here. Going to do the same on the leaves. So here it is, my dark grey. I don't think you can see that. And I'm just going to go around this edge here with a dark grey, and along the edge of the vein of the leaf. I'm not going to worry too much about the sections of the leaf, but just the vein. Hopefully it'll look like it's standing up a little bit. It's quite tricky. And then also when I do this one, I'll just put a little bit along the edge of there where it's overlapping, and sort of around there and around there. I don't think there's any need for any on those, or yeah, I could put a bit in here, look. Like that, and around there, like that. You don't have to. If you think it adds something, do it. If you don't do it. Simple as that. Okay, so let's work on this flower. So as I say, this flower is the same as this one. I haven't decided whether I'm going to keep to the same colour for all the leaves on this section or not yet. But I think as this flower is the same as this one, I want to do the leaves the same colour. So I am going to grab my emerald green and just show you. Now we've got a border on this leaf in the central bit. It's up to you, but I'm actually going to ignore it and just colour over it. So I'm going to make it darker at the base like I did with my other leaf, and then just colour up towards the tip, and actually, as I said, ignore it. You may not wish to do that. It's completely up to you. Your picture. There we go. So just a simple fill in that leaf. Okay, let's do a little more. Oh, we haven't done those. Before I send you off, there's quite a lot to colour in between videos with all these flowers and the stems and leaves and things. But I think if we just do the central part here, we can just get a whole little section done. I'm not going to do the butterfly yet because I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the butterfly. Not that I've decided what I'm going to do with anything else either. So for this flower, I'm going to use the ruby red. The centre of the flower, I feel like I do want it a different colour. But I don't want to introduce something like yellow. It's not going to work. So I think I'm going to use the rose pink for the centre of the flower. So this is a bit paler. Like that. I'm trying to still make it a little dark on the edge. And then use the ruby red for the petals. Okay. And rather than this being the raspberry, this is a bit darker. And I'm just going to colour it out to the tips, just in the same way as with the other leaf. You can see the colour is a little more intense than this one. You can see, I can see it's a bit darker. It is in the same colour family, so it looks similar, but we're going to do something on this one in a minute to I'm going to put a bit of white on the stamens. I'm wondering whether to put a bit on this one as well. It's always tempting to get a bit carried away with your white pen, because this has got stamens marked on it, which we're just colouring over at the minute. I think they'll look nicer in white than they look in black. It's just my personal view. So I'm going to make them white. They do show up well enough to stay black if that's what you prefer, or if you don't have a white pen. I know not everyone has the white pens. They're fairly easy to get hold of. Both of my local art shops sell them, but you can also get them online. Another local art shop also has them. Now these leaves look like this. I'm going to do them in the same way with the same pencil, I think. I am beginning to think I'm going to keep the greens the same. I'm going to risk it looking quite samey, but I think we'll be okay. Now down here we have a few heart-shaped leaves which are right on the bottom of the page. I think I'm going to keep them as leaves, not flowers. I'm pretty sure they're leaves. We do have quite a lot of florals to do, so it's not like we're going to make it too green. And I think I'll just use this emerald green. Sorry, let me do these. I need some magic pencils. You know those ones in reels where they just go tap and it fills all the space for you? Some of you going, what on earth is she on about? But it'd sort of take the joy out of colouring, wouldn't it? So those are going to be like that. Just build that colour up a little bit near the plant, and then I will be using my grey again, oops, wrong way, to, you know, mark out around here, and also I'm going to go around here between these petals. And then we're going to get the white. Now this Posca isn't the thinnest of whites. It is the thinnest Posca. But it's going to make these bits a bit thicker. But I don't really mind. I'm also not very accurate or straight. But again, I don't mind. And then a few dots here like they're drawn on. Ideally I wanted to put them on top of the black, but I've missed. And I'm going to put a few dots around the centre there like that. I'm tempted to put a few dots around the centre there. I think it just adds a little touch of prettiness. Okay. Now, what else have we got left? Oh, so let's come out a little to show you. So basically it's this quadrant here that we're sort of concentrating on at the moment. So just this corner. So this flower here that we've just done, there's one there. So it's going to be the same. This flower here, there's one there. So that's going to be the same. Okay, so there's quite a lot of colouring already to do. These petals on this one are going to be the same as the ones on that one with the same colour. Now here, this one here, to me, looks like it's a closed one of those. Does that look like that to you? So I'm going to do that one in the same pencil as that one. Okay, so that was the ruby red. So this plant in with the rose pink centre and the ruby red. And then this in the ruby red, but I might make that little bit in rose pink. So let's just have a little go at that. So here is our rose pink. It's a bit easier to see when I'm further away. So I'm just going to use that for there. I'm actually just blocking it in. Okay, and then use the ruby red for the petals. I'm trying not to put my hand in the white pen. It's always a good thing. So there's that one. I'm sort of conscious that I don't want to leave you so much to do before tomorrow that it's overwhelming, because there are quite a few very similar plants which we're going to be doing in this section. So because as well as doing this quadrant, I'm going to not only do these here and this, and this and this, I'm also going to do those in all the other quarters of the page as well. So it's going to take quite a while for me to get that all done. I'm just looking at what else there is. Yeah, I think we'll leave the rest. I think we'll just do that for today, because as I say, there's quite a lot of colouring to do. And then, because also with this one here, I'm going to use the dark grey and just do the little bit of shadow like on the others, like that, and the emerald green to do the stem. Now I don't know what's going, these, I'm also going to do these and these, so because they're just a tip, they only need a touch. This one's slightly more, it's right on the corner, it's a bit tricky, but just make it quite light on that top there. Now when I've done all these pink, reddish florals, I will decide whether to go for a different colour for some of the others, because we do have this blue in the middle. Now, are we going to do a lighter version of that blue for a background? We're going to leave the background white. We're going to do some blue flowers. I don't want to make that the only blue. So having a think. I've also just noticed how messy it is. I might just try and clean that up a bit. Let's just find a blending pencil. This is a Prismacolor colourless blender. I'm going to just try, see if it does anything. Actually I've got a Caran d'Ache blender which would probably have been the more sensible option, but this is working really well. So I'm going to continue this one. Yeah, that's better. You can use this to make your flowers and leaves more even if you feel you need to or want to, but it just adds another dimension, no, that's not the word I'm looking for, another action onto your colouring, which means it takes longer for you to complete the picture. So it's up to you whether you think it's worth the time or not, but I'm happier with that now. So that's that. So in the next video we can do these flowers, because we've still got these and this and all this and this to do. And as I say, once I've done all this red and pink, I will be able to be in a better place to think about whether we need some blue. I'm wondering, you know, we could put a bit of blue in either here or here, and maybe here or here, perhaps. I haven't decided, but yeah, as I say, homework, lots and lots of homework. So, finish those leaves, finish that flower and those leaves, do that flower, and then do all of that on every corner. Good luck. I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun with this page, but I'm going to get some lunch and then I'll colour it in, and then I'll see if I've got time to record on the last bit today. I may not, but that's fine, it doesn't matter. I've got plenty of time, but for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.